But Jared likes to try to bring me into the fray with certain parking.
You know what? I never thought of nightmare as also a dream. I never. Yes.
Just not a good dream.
But yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Good evening. I now call this Village of Hebron Council meeting to order at 6 p.m. on Monday, April 6, 2026. Please stand as you're able and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Juvenile.
Yes. Here.
Hoskinson. I'm here. Mrs. Chapman. Mr. Marietta.
Here.
We have quorum. All right, thank you visitors for attending this evening. If you've not already done so, please sign in and get a copy of the agenda. There will be opportunities to speak at 2 points in the agenda, both labeled visitor comments. Council meetings are recorded and provided to council and the public for review. Meeting minutes are official once the recording is approved by Village Council by a majority vote. Today's recording will become the official record of minutes once approved. The recording is available online at the Village of Hebron YouTube channel. I am seeking a motion for approval of the minutes for the March 23rd, 2026 council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Juvenile and a second from Councilmember Hoskinson. Any correction or discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Marietta.
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. It passes 6-0. The next item is visitor comments. We have this time reserved on the agenda to hear comments from visitors regarding topics not listed on the agenda. You should have already signed in. Please be sure to state your name and the address for the record. There's a 5-minute time limit for each speaker. We're very eager to hear what you have to say, so please speak loudly and clearly into the microphone. Thank you.
Hi, Delmer Dennis. It's going to be 125 North High Street, Hebron, Ohio. I'm here today as far as talking on behalf of the business owners here in Hebron. As far as, making sure everybody's being treated fairly and all having the same options as everybody else. I have touched base with Brittany this morning. Basically asking as far as what's going on with the Village Hebron signs that the business owners here in Hebron has been able to put their banner on there. I was basically told that the owners of businesses here in town has went to a business meeting that you have to attend, quotation. You must be able to talk on the portal that was offered in the portal to sign up to get your name put on the sign. Is that correct?
My understanding is that there's an app that businesses are using in the village to communicate with one another. And that as soon as this was announced, the desire for people to put their to buy in and put their logos on the signage was pretty quick. I think we have close to 100 businesses, so you can imagine it went pretty quick.
But this is my question.
Yeah.
Why is it that we have to show up to the meetings or be on that portal to have that as an option. Nobody is reaching out to the businesses that are not on that portal or in those business meetings. We're not doing this very fairly. As far as buying in and having the option to, that should be open for everyone, not just people in that meeting at the coffee shop once a month. And that's where I'm very upset about. I've been in business for 5.5 years here in Hebron. I have sponsored many different situations. I've participated in Pie Festival many times. I've done my part in the role of the community, I feel like, you know, and I still do to this day. Love Hebron. Absolutely would not change anything about it. But at the end of the day, that decision as far as, you know, offering that situation was not open to everyone. It was open up to a very small group of people that was just attending the meetings at the coffee shop. That is not right at all.
So I definitely don't want to take away from your message. I'm trying to figure out what you would have preferred we had done. I don't think we have the staff to go and visit every business every time an opportunity comes up. What would your preference have been?
Well, I mean, why didn't we talk about this at the meetings? You know, like why hasn't, you know, a big letterhead on the Facebook page been posted? Hey, looking for people in Hebron, the village of Hebron, that's business owners, to reach out and let's talk about maybe, I don't know, put everybody in a straw and say we got 10 spots. We'll put your name in a bucket. We're going to draw 10 spots. It's $1,500 a pop if you want to go on it. If not, have a good day. But that option wasn't even an option.
Mhm.
It was, hey, this is my group. These are my friends. You guys get the options. I've been in business for 5.5 years. There's guys that's on that sign that has not even had a year in time yet.
Mhm.
And it's very frustrating because I do my part in the village and I feel like, you know what I mean? Like I love it here. And then you got new guys that are on that sign that, you know, just because they're in that group. And I was not very happy with Brittany this morning. Not cool.
Okay.
So it was very unfair. And this is one of many situations that's not fairness in this village. You know, it's kind of, it's either you're in that group or you're in the back of the line. And I'm not going to sit there and be that guy that goes to every single one of your guys' meetings. I don't have time for it. I'm a real business owner that makes moves, and I don't have time to sit at the meeting with Lord knows however many other people. I did it once and I was like, yeah, not for me.
Mhm.
But I shouldn't be boycotted all because, you know, I'm not going to those meetings. I should have had an opportunity to get on that sign as well. And as long as no different than anybody else,
Mhm.
you know, and I got told, well, maybe here in a year or two, if one of the other people got a business, maybe you can have a shot at it. That's fine. Don't even give me an opportunity, but we need to be fair. And there was nothing fair about this.
Okay. So, the GroupMe app sounds like that's not a good way to communicate with
No.
you and having these meetings.
And as others, there's many other people,
I'm not saying there
you
are.
know.
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is what a reasonable expectation would be. And maybe you don't have an answer for
I
that.
don't have an answer.
Okay.
But as a group of people here, that you guys should be able to handle that. You guys should be able to make sure that you guys are thinking of other businesses that are not a part of your guys' meetings in the mornings, that don't have time to go and cater to everyone. I told Brittany, I don't have time to kiss butt. I don't have time for it. But I do have time to come here and raise hell about this. I don't appreciate you guys not taking the time to make sure that other people are involved in your guys' little gigs.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So maybe you guys can figure out a solution to that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I don't know if council had any questions or. I mean, currently we don't have staff to go and engage every business every time there's an opportunity in the village. And maybe that's something that council needs to think about. I mean, Brittany has told us multiple times how challenging it is for her to manage all of her duties as economic development and also then with the, I'm sorry.
I was going to say managing both economic development and zoning.
Yeah,
The-
Exactly.
The wide array of different responsibilities and tasks she has is vast. And it doesn't sound like much when aggregated into two different words, but the work that she does is pretty staggering for one person.
But my issue is it wasn't even put on the Facebook page that you guys communicate on every single day. Nothing, no social media was brought up about this sign. This was a hush hush. If you're in the group in the coffee meeting, you're in with the, the claim. You guys are okay. We'll put your sign on there. Nope. And she told me multiple other businesses reached out and asked the same question I asked. What do we got to do to get on that sign? Well, if the proper steps were taken, we wouldn't have to be in this situation. Yes, I understand there's a lot of businesses here in town. Like I said, even if it was $3,000 a piece, I don't care about $3,000. What I care about is everybody had a fair chance to make sure that their logo was on that business sign. I've been here for 5.5 years. You know what I got from the village? A live video saying that you guys are spotlight of the month. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is we not being fair about the situation. Put everybody in the bucket, do a drawing, you get your name called. It's $3,000, you wanna do it, put me on the sign. There's a lot of businesses that don't care about $3,000 here in town. But you got, how many spots was there, 10, whatever?
I think there are 8.
Grant Money says every single one of those people then I need it. Just saying. Do better next time. So, that's all I got to say, thank you.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So it was shared in the app, the business owners app
Mhm.
is where, okay. Do we know how many businesses are in the app?
I don't.
Just curious.
Sorry.
Okay.
So then just a maybe follow-up question when it comes to this as well. So you keep referring to the Facebook page, which I believe speaks more broadly on yes, but also more on the municipal aspects. My question with zoning and economic development is that part of that Facebook page, or when I think of our Facebook page for the Village of Hebron, it more often is just
It's normally to resident, not to business.
right. That's what I was gonna say. It's more on the focus of things like the office being closed for Good Friday, inclement weather, beware of snow level emergencies, things like that. There's even separate Facebook pages that exist, for example, for the police department, for them to put out different notices and things like that. Is there?
That, there's only business. Why can't we take 2 seconds to put on there, hey, Village of Hebron needs sponsors for our sign that we're putting up. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? So we can diddle back you all around this, the whole subject regardless, at the end of the day, this was done very poorly. Very poorly.
The Pie Festival stuff has a whole infrastructure of people supporting it. This signage didn't have a whole infrastructure of volunteers supporting getting the word out. So, I mean, I think we really need to seriously entertain, you know, if we're going to do these types of things and if we're going to ask our staff to be in literal, not software constant contact, that we actually have the staffing to do that for the businesses, for the residents, for, you know, each of those interested parties.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If a fee is charged to be placed on there, where is that money being driven towards?
The CIC is the ultimate owner of that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And-
how much was the fee, by the way?
To put up the sign or to put up a business? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry. I can find out for you. Absolutely. I just don't know exactly what it is.
Talked about in the meeting, right?
I don't go to most of those meetings that you're talking about.
They did, right? I mean, it's like this.
I'm not disagreeing. Like,
Done very poorly.
if I were not the mayor, I probably wouldn't go to most of those meetings. Yeah, I'd go to fewer than I go to right now. And I understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to figure out is what we can do in the future. I can't fix the past. You know that already. And I hear what you're saying. I understand you're frustrated and I don't want to take away from that. But the other part of me is like, well, what should we do? What could we do so that we don't have this happen the next time? Because I have hopes of having additional signs in our village in the future. And so how do we go about that? I'd really like one on the east end and on the west end. And I'd like to have something in the center of town with a scrolling marquee. So my hope is that there are future options for this. What I don't know is what I would do differently with the staffing that I currently have. That's what I'm worried about.
I'll do live on social media, talk about it like you did about the data center. I mean, everybody watched that, put it out there. Hey, local businesses, we're looking for sponsors. This is how much it's gonna cost. This is how many spots we have. We'll put you in a drawing. They'll draw your number. Great. You know what I mean? You either got the money or you don't.
Mhm.
It's just, you know, it's just the point of this whole situation was done very poorly and at the end of the day, it's all about if you have the time on your day to go to these little meetings at the coffee shop. I don't have time. I don't, pardon my language, I don't kiss butt. Okay, I don't have time for it. I got a business, I got a family, I got real estate I run. I don't have time to go babysit and you know, suck up to other people I don't even give a shit about. They ain't gonna pay my bills. And it's very frustrating that basically that was my response this morning was, well, you should go to the meetings. I don't need to go to the meetings. This right here is the only meeting I can go to that I have time for. It's the meetings. And that's because there's people here that's going to understand and it's recorded as well.
Mhm.
That you guys, you know, whoever was behind that, basically blindfolded everybody, got their buddies in on the sign and moved on. So that's why I'm upset, you know. I'm not a fan of Brittany. Care to be, or we'll keep it that way.
Well, I absolutely want to hear your position on everything, but on my staff members, I mean, you're entitled to how you feel, but please, let's keep this professional if we can. Thank you. And then with regard to disseminating the information, again, my job, much like yours, right? My job is to figure out how to address what our customers need. Customers being our residents, our businesses, everybody who's impacted in this village. And so that to me means figuring out how we could address this in the future. From an economic development perspective, maybe there should be something on the Economic Development Committee.
I was going to actually ask about that a little bit further and maybe a point of question. So we mentioned the CIC. So this was run through the CIC, correct? This whole sign.
Particular issue, yeah. Yeah.
I see that was, the funds were funded into the community development fund that we have in the village.
Okay,
So
but did that first go around, that's paying for, well, I know from a government accounting perspective, nothing pays for something backwards, but we had to make an original investment into that sign.
Are we talking about the signs that were provided from the?
ELRC, the bucket, and we paid percentage of that. And so it's my understanding that that initial volley of sponsors are offsetting what the original investment was. Yes. Okay, sorry.
We able to clarify how much that was now that we have somebody here that's in the accounting development?
I don't have the exact numbers, I mean, they were different. By different costs for the different spots, so I have to look at it front.
at the end of the day, what you bring up is a very interesting point. It's a point of perhaps communication. And I think whenever you can, if there's an idea that you have for how you and maybe others like you or in your position better receive, better are engaged, or would prefer to have communication done, let us know. More broadly, I think, and that's what I was trying to kind of uncover here, is dare I say, the core of it is it CIC initiative? Is it economic and zoning development? What have you? Because if it's CIC driven, I will say one, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong. CIC is a separate entity entirely, their own board, their own group.
That is
own-
correct.
Okay. So them being a newly formed separate entity in its entirety, I would say they have a lot of different things that they're probably still figuring out, communication being one of them. I mean, I'm sure we can all attest to when we start something for the first time, try something new, we make a lot of mistakes. Things don't go according to plan. And that being said, if that just happened that they didn't properly communicate or what have you, it might be a point of learning for them, but still trying to figure out maybe more to the end of what happened here and what have you. Still standing to stay, let us know what works for you and others. If it's, hey, there's an idea, maybe should engage through a separate Facebook page or group or an email chain or a newsletter. I'm sure that feedback is always desired and always appreciated and something that we look for because it's how do we not only understand the problem and dive deeper to figure it out, but it's also what do we do to help make sure it doesn't happen again? So think about it. Community Improvement Corporation. So it's a separate entity formed, and I'm gonna defer if Jared, if you want to speak on the legal premise of its existence or
Can
Go
I,
ahead. Yeah.
sorry, I just want to say this one thing. The CIC, sorry, I got a correction. It's not the one that made these selections.
Okay.
So it's in-house. I messed up.
Okay.
I misstated. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Paul, as far as, okay, I'm the one that chose the person, the businesses for this sign. Who did that?
I did.
And do you think that, the person that maybe helped make that decision that maybe take everybody in consideration?
No, I think I don't have adequate staffing to engage every single business in this village to address to your specifications. And I'm not trying to be confrontational. I just want to be crystal clear. I have limited staff. Every one of my staff members has a wide scope of work because we're so small. And one of those team members is who we're talking about right now, has two very distinct, very large roles in this office, in this department, in this village. She is in charge of economic development. So she's in charge of helping us figure out what we need to control and what we need to proactively communicate if Microsoft is buying 200 acres and we need to figure out if they're going to cause any type of air pollution. And the second role she has is community development. So part of that is a blending of these two things. This signage welcomes people to our community, but we had an opportunity to also have a bit of economic development and put face forward for some of our businesses.
Well, I mean, if the person would, spend less time sitting there talking to everybody and do more of her job, maybe this wouldn't have been as big a situation as what it was. I mean, I'm sure her job isn't sitting at a coffee shop talking about, other businesses and how to grow them.
A very big part of her job is trying to help the businesses in our village and also help bring in desired businesses in our village.
Can I call point of order?
Of course.
We have a 5-minute limit on this topic. I
Sorry.
think we've heard, I agree there's some additional work that needs to be done on it. I think we can do that instead of taking up public time to do that. So I call point of order.
Thank you. Okay, so let me just wrap this up then. Delmer, if you're willing, I'm happy to sit with you directly one-on-one if you want to. You don't have to. Okay, great. All right. Thank you for coming this evening. All right, the next item is legislation. The first one is ordinance 0226. It's an ordinance amending the position of the village clerk of council for the village of Hebron, Ohio. It's a third reading. I'm seeking a motion to adopt ordinance 0226.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Carpenter and a second from Councilmember Marietta. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you, council, and that passes 5-0. And I just want to say, for the record, I indicated that the approval of minutes passed 6-0, but it passed 5-0 as well. Okay. The next item is Resolution 2603, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the Village of Hebron to execute an agreement with the Licking County Health Department for a mosquito control program. This is the first reading. The next item is Resolution 2604. It's a resolution of the Village of Hebron, Ohio, authorizing the mayor or village administrator to execute an enterprise fleet management agreement on behalf of the Village of Hebron. This is the first reading. However, we are seeking a motion to waive the readings. Is that right?
That's my understanding,
That's
yes.
my understanding. Is that yours as well? Thank you.
Thank you, council. I'm just asking that council waive the readings for this resolution so that we can enter into this agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management to begin the procurement process of the police vehicles. This is kind of a time sensitive matter because we have identified 2 vehicles at a dealership that are available now. However, just like in any other world, they could be bought at any other time. So rather than continue this process out for several weeks and risk having to source new vehicles and kind of start that process over again, I'm just requesting that council waive the readings for this resolution.
I move to suspend the readings.
Seconded.
I have a motion from Councilmember Marietta and a second from Councilmember Juvenile. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Askelson?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Marion?
Yes.
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 Thank you. It passes 5-0.
Thank you, council.
Before moving on to asking adoption of Resolution 2604, we were looking at the contractual language and that was still in discussion a little bit, right? So I just want to make council aware, if something else pops up, we may need to revisit it.
That is correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so now I'm seeking a motion to adopt Resolution 2604.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Council President Wolf and a second from Council Member Marietta. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Ms. Askelson?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. It passes 5-0. The next item is Resolution 2605. It's a resolution of the Village of Hebron, Ohio, approving the final plat for Hebron Landing Phase 2, submitted by MI Homes of Central Ohio LLC. This is the first reading. The next item is Ordinance 0426. It's an ordinance to award the contract to clean the Village of Hebron Municipal Building to Pelletier Cleaning and to authorize and direct the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into an agreement for such service. It's the first reading. The next item is Ordinance 0526. It's an ordinance establishing a custodial fund for the Kirkersville Union Hebron Joint Economic Development District Number 1, Joint Economic Development District, JED. It's the first reading.
Can I get information on that? What is this about? I mean, can you explain?
Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah.
Yes. And the fund specifically, right?
Yes, please.
Since there was a JED formed and that approval process went through, we now have to create a special fund so that we can process the funds coming into that and then the funds that I will be sending back out. Same with the TIF. In order to process the TIF funds, a special fund has to be set up. So we need legislation to create those. And then once that's passed, I have to then send that information out and request the auditor to approve them as well. So the auditing process with a state auditor's office takes a little while. So we're getting these passed and getting these through so I can get that done.
It's come from the general fund then? Or is this special
Mm.
money requested or?
No, the JED fund and the TIF fund, those two things would create their own fund. It has nothing to do with any other fund in the village.
Okay, thank you.
I have a
Appreciate
question,
that.
Debbie.
Yes.
Given the fact that we need to forward on to the auditor's office, is there a time constraint that these need to be waived?
Solicitor Rose and I discussed that, and we feel that it's comfortable to let it go the 3 readings.
And just to be clear, we're talking about funds, but we're not asking for council to give money. We're
Right.
just making council aware that we would like to create an actual accounting number.
Yes,
Right?
it's
So
a
that-
mechanism to get the dollars coming in so that we could then get it out to where it needs to go.
Thank you for clearing that up. I was
Yeah.
not understanding that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
It's common for me. I forget that when
Yeah.
you think of fund, yes, but thank you, Mayor, for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The next item is ordinance 0626. It's an ordinance establishing a special revenue fund for the Hebron Landing Incentive District Tax Increment Financing Program, and that's the first reading. And again, this is creation of an actual accounting mechanism for the money to be put into. All right, the next item is council action items, and I'm seeking a motion to acknowledge receipt and review of the March 2026 bank reconciliation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Juvenile and a second from Councilmember Hoskinson. Any discussion?
I would recommend, if I'm reading this right, we just make the correction on the agenda. The agenda says February. Okay.
So it sounds like the agenda was corrected. It
Yes.
had previously said February. Sorry about that. Thank you. Do we have a first and second?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Marietta,
Yes,
Ms. Hoskinson.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. It passes 5-0. Did I call who did the first and the second?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Let me just read it into record. So the first was Councilmember Juvenile and the second was Councilmember Hoskinson. Thank you, Council. Sorry.
Thank
Okay, the next item is the administrator's report.
I have a couple of updates. This morning, we received an email from the county engineering office asking us to provide the estimated tonnage for the salt for this snow season, 2026 and 2027. Because the timing of this, the ODOT will need the information, at least the requested tonnage back to them with the accompanying resolution by May 1st. So I will be asking council for emergency approval at the next May 27 meeting. So we can send that snow tonnage to the ODOT for them to anticipate how much snow they need to acquire for the 2026, 2027 snow season. And at the next combined committee meetings, we will have the water department updates. Also, I have invited environmental design group to give the council an update regarding the canal multi-use trail, what the status on that and when the construction will start. Public Works Superintendent is meeting with the contractor tomorrow, along with the project engineer, to figure out when the repaving of the Maple, Broadway Street, Worcester, and the Newark, when that paving is going to start. So more to come. Once we identify the specific date, I will forward the information to council as well. Water Department had narrowed that down. The applicants for the labor and or operator one position to about 7 or 8 applicants. So they will begin to scheduling the interview to fill the position that is recently vacated by Richard Horn's retirement. That was March 31st, a couple of days ago. And then last week, I went with the mayor and Tom Coleman with the water reclamation facilities. And Brendan Meisner, the economic and community development director, to the MORPC, who the entity put together what the water reuse forum. It's a very interesting topic. We may not need it now, but I think something to consider in the future. The water reuse issue has been very prominent, a significant issue out west and down south. So don't know when that's going to be the topic that we need to look at it, but something that we definitely need to look into that. That's all I have for now. Thank you, Mayor.
And we have you draw up the legislation for what he needs for the salt to be, so we can go ahead and pass it on the 27th?
Certainly, I don't think I have gotten a chance yet to completely review the.
Yeah, we
but,
just
Yeah.
we just received that email this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. And I may say this, typically, I want something's really quick.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm getting at, and we're not gonna be able to vote on it for 2 weeks. so
Historically, ODOT usually sends us the ordinance or the resolution as well.
Yeah.
It's usually not one we internally create. They send it to us.
I will forward those information over.
Thank you. The next item is council member reports. Would you like to start?
Sure. I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have something tonight. I just wanted to bring up, I know Andrea or Councilmember Chapman brought this up previously about Evans Park and some of the flooding over by the Frisbee course. I've noticed it really bad again lately.
Yes.
Has anything been addressed or?
They are looking into what causes that issue because they had not seen this before either. So we're looking at how we can address those issues. Yes, we are looking into that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's weird, like there's nothing over there.
Yeah.
No, and I've lived over there for 3 years and I've never noticed it
This is
until
the
just
first
this
year, yeah.
year.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's something that could be taken care of once Microsoft starts moving dirt over there.
We just have to see what might be the causes and see how we can resolve that. Yeah.
That's kind of where it dips down.
Yep.
So maybe it is where they just build it up. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but.
Thank you for bringing that up again.
Thank you. Councilmember Carpenter.
I have a couple items. Number one, express appreciation. I know that I brought it to the mayor's staff over the flooding over Hamilton Avenue with the way that I call it a creek that they put back from Hebron Landing. The fact that they did go in and do some drainage work on it allowed it to decrease enough that the residents in that area are no longer having issues with their sump pumps and sewage. When they originally put it in, for those of you who weren't involved, they cut the lines and they went back and they opened that there was a flow into the creek. But with the flooding, the creek is so high that it's causing everything to back up into those lines. So thank you for those who are responsible for that. The second, I'd like just to make I had it on my agenda before we had our visitors comment to say something about the new signage. I think it's kudos in the fact that we do have it. I think it shines greatly on our village in a positive manner. Even if maybe notification didn't go out. I myself, as a nonprofit business person, wasn't notified. So I think there's a way that we all can grow from this. And I'd rather see us grow from it than to defame or bash somebody who is very much overloaded. Because I know that person does a lot of positive things. We all make mistakes, and I think we can correct that and find a peaceable solution to it. But I do just want to comment that it is a very positive reflection of the village, and I'm grateful for it. The third thing that I'd like to ask would be of the police chief. Several residents has come to us now that the weather is opening up to where we have more traffic. The intersection right there at the Hebron Dairy aisle. When darkness sets in, we're getting a lot of extra traffic that wants to show off by the squealing of tires, the revving of loud engines. That makes it unsafe. And we all know that there's a lot of customers in line at those hours. And maybe just an enhanced patrol over there would slow some of those down and maybe prevent an accident we all don't want.
Thank you. I know that in the long run, we're looking at creating something called a bump out, which a lot of folks decide to just make an extra turn lane, right turn lane there. And so that bump out would serve as kind of a narrowing to force people to stay in that center lane. And then it would also make it easier for pedestrians to be able to be seen as cars approach. So in the long run, we do have very clear plans about how to address some of that with regard to people whipping around the corner and those types of things. But I do think every year we go through this. And so each year we do need to be pretty visible. Yes.
I was wondering, is there a way to contact him? Why don't we have him reverse the line to his business there? I mean, they're lining up toward the street. Why don't we just ask him to make a dotted line or something, have the customers just go up the sidewalk and not down toward the parking lot? I mean, just reverse what's going on now.
I guess that strikes me as a business's prerogative. I mean, if you want to make that recommendation to him as an individual, to a business owner,
Yeah,
I think we're all okay with that.
yeah, it's kind of, it is kind of strange that everybody lines up going toward the road. And if they would just go the opposite direction, I'll address it.
No report at this time.
Thank you.
Did we get all the parking spaces lined off down through there?
The ones that we had mapped, right? But we still have quite a bit
That
to
is
do.
correct.
Mhm.
We have marked the north side of High Street, but we have not completed all the work yet.
Yeah. I think it would help there.
Main Street.
Yeah, when you're going east there, turning, I don't know how many times I've been passed on the right-hand side, even though I've got my turn signal on. But, that's all I have. I don't have anything else.
All right. For the mayor's report, I just want to mention a couple of items. First, the water reuse forum that we attended was fantastic. One of the main presenters was from Loudoun County in Virginia, where they have hundreds of data centers. And they spoke about how about 10% of the water that they put out is reuse water. Now, I think that's not necessarily something we're striving for, but if we need to have that as a solution, we need to not wait until it's too late and we already need it in place. So I'm glad that we got to go and listen to that. The next item is that the annual report is out and printed. I believe each of you would have received one in your box. If you didn't, please let me know. But there are certainly more. So if you would like to share them with your neighbors or friends, please do so. The feedback I've gotten on it has been very positive. I was told by, I can't remember who, they said, no, nobody does this. So I'm being mindful that transparency doesn't mean it's accessible, but I do think it's an important step in us making the information widely available to everyone in the community. The annual first notice about mowing and junk vehicles and all of that is going out, and it'll be in the May billing cycle for water, wastewater. Also, in the coming weeks, we'll be expecting Maple, Broadway, Worcester, and Newark to be paved. So you should be seeing some activity about that soon. Tomorrow evening, and I'm sorry it's not on here, tomorrow evening is the vigil, if you're able to attend. For our deployed service members, it'll be at Evans Park at 6 p.m. I got a trellis, a metal trellis, and I cut ribbons today so that folks could tie ribbons onto the trellis, and we'll keep it here in the building so it doesn't get frayed and all that other stuff that happens to yellow ribbons quite quickly. And then also I'm hoping we can make ribbons available to folks if they miss the vigil tomorrow night, that they could still come in and tie a ribbon onto the trellis. I hope all of you will participate if you can. And then the last thing is I will be out Wednesday to Wednesday, so don't have too much fun without me. But hopefully I will actually be offline, but obviously if there's something urgent, I will take a phone call. Any other visitor comments? Okay. Unless otherwise noted, it's understood council members have reviewed the expense report and provided and have no questions. Just want to draw your eye to the meeting and event schedule. It's actually on the back side of the agenda. Tomorrow is the Finance Committee meeting where we will be discussing the water and wastewater rates. Like I said, we also have the vigil tomorrow night at 6, and it's at Evans Park. And then we get into planning and zoning next week. The 5K race, if you haven't registered, but you're interested, that's an option. And also there's a 1-mile walk if you're interested. And then on the 20th, we'll be having the council chamber unveiling to recognize Annelle's 50 years of service to the village. And getting into the combined committees meeting after that, another chipper day. We did have the emergency one earlier this year. This is our typically scheduled one. And then that weekend we have village cleanup, drug collection, and Love Your Neighbor. If you haven't already signed up for Love Your Neighbor, I hope you will consider doing so. You don't have to do the whole day, but I think that will be a great way to show community engagement and helping one another out. And then we are on to our last council meeting of the month. Unless anyone has anything else, I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay, a motion from Council President Wolf, a second from Council Member Carpenter. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Ms. Hoskinson.
Yes.
Mr. Marietta.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. This meeting of the Village of Hebron is now adjourned at 6:47.